Welcome to BlackUSA.news morning show. I'm your host, William Honablew Jr. Join us as we explore the news and opinions that impact our community. We break down how the major stories have a very personal, local, and racial impact. No topic is off limits, but even if the conversation gets rough, we're always going to keep it real.
Greetings and salutations, all my friends out there in internet land. I am William Honablew Jr., and I have the privilege and honor of serving as the host of the Black USA News Morning Show. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. We're going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to take you literally on a journey with me. I had an opportunity to take my youngest son to his last first day of college, drove him down, whatever. And I thought it'd be a really great opportunity on the way down, spur of the moment, just to pull out my phone and just start recording a conversation. And it was amazing. He is an amazing man, and I am so grateful to be his dad. And so not only are we going to go through, and I'm going to share some of the clips and the video footage from the trip down. I'm also going to go into the archives and show you a little bit about how we got here. So it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to sharing a little bit about my son with you. With this one. So yeah, he's still here. We're on the way. We're down in Virginia, making it through. We haven't hit Richmond yet. I gotta be honest. This is this last first trip. I keep doing that backwards. This last first trip is kind of, it's bittersweet. You know what I mean? I wish I had realized that it had gone by this fast. Like, it didn't occur to me until we really started putting stuff together, like making arrangements to go, that this was going to be the last one. Feels like it just started. And I know things have been different with COVID and stuff like that, but yeah, it's been an interesting journey. Like, you know, taking a trip up and down here, and also watching the way North Carolina A&T has handled him as a student and just the process. I gotta give it to them. They do a really good job. I've been suitably impressed with them. So, actually, one of the things that I want you all to hear, if he will indulge us a little bit, and I'm assuming since I'm driving, he's gonna have to indulge us, about the story about how he chose North Carolina A&T. I know on the show I've talked about it a couple times, but that's my version. So I'm gonna hand it to him so he can tell you his.
Hello, everybody. I actually ended up finding out about North Carolina A&T through an HBCU college tour with Mr. James Henderson. Wonderful. MTM Foundation.
Yeah.
Wonderful guy, wonderful college tour. I highly recommend it for any high school students seeking to learn about HBCUs or Ivy League, especially HBCUs, but Ivy League colleges as well. Excellent man, excellent college tour. And when I got to North Carolina A&T, I instantly fell in love with the school. It is exactly the right environmental atmosphere I was looking for. A bunch of open space to walk around and look around, but at the same time, slightly urbanish and not too many hills. It was also really close to Greensboro, like actually in spitting distance. So walking downtown is a breeze, and there's things to do. There's a nice sushi burrito spot that I'm absolutely in love with. It's just a really big campus full of wonderful people and full of plenty of space to walk around and just relax. It's a very enjoyable atmosphere.
It sounds like you don't go to classes or anything.
I do go to classes, I should say. I do.
Yeah, this is your senior year,
I
so
do.
you might. It's like 4 years of that, so you might want to talk about that a little bit.
Classes are wonderful.
Tell me about your major and stuff.
I am a physics major, currently trying to minor in English and computer science. My physics building is Martina, which is one of the older buildings, so it could be nicer, but it's not bad. And all of my physics professors are incredibly personable and easy to talk to and really enjoyable. I have not had a bad physics class. Either it was redeemed by the stuff we were learning, or the person teaching it was a cool person. There was no physics class I had that I was like, man, I wish I didn't have to take this. In terms of computer science, I found out I really, really love coding more than I thought I did. And so taking computer science courses has been an absolute blast. And in order to graduate in 4 years to avoid graduating early, I am also taking up an English minor, which we're going to have to see how that goes this semester. I'm taking majority of the classes for the minor since I've just about finished my physics course. Hopefully I can get both minors in. If I happen to not, I already have a math minor in the bag, but you can only have 2 minors. So even if something doesn't work out, I'll still probably leave with 2 minors. So it's all going really, really well for me, and I'm thoroughly enjoying all of my classes and minors.
So tell them about your mate, like why you chose physics, like what you want to do. Because real talk, I know at North Carolina A&T, it's probably a lot of black people in the physics classes because it's an HBCU. But for a lot of people, many of them find themselves, especially at PWIs, to be one of the few black people in this white environment. Oh yeah, few black people in the white environment. So talk to them a little bit about what it's like, why you chose physics to begin with. Like, what was it that got you there?
It's just always been physics for me. Even at a young age, I was thoroughly interested in physics and black holes and astronomy. Transitioning into high school, I think it was 10th grade, taking a physics course, we learned about the double slit experiment in quantum mechanics, in which whether or not electrons are being observed, they produce different patterns. One which is like they were behaving like a particle, one which was like they were behaving like a wave. And scientists have ended up concluding that they were interfering with themselves to create that wave pattern. And it was all really fascinating for me. That's what really got me into physics. And my love for physics has been maintained by just a bunch of interesting phenomena. There is a YouTuber called Minute Physics that if you're interested in physics, Minute Physics. Okay. And if you're interested in physics at all, I highly recommend watching some videos. They explain succinctly a bunch of interesting physics concepts. It can be a bit hard to wrap your head around some of them, but it's a really good YouTuber and a bunch of great videos. But I've always loved physics. I've absolutely always loved physics. And I've always been good at math too, so it kind of balanced out.
But there's a lot of people who, like a lot of parents who want their kids to be involved in STEM and stuff like that. And even in the work that I'm doing with some of the schools, big shout out to Coppin Academy. The work that I'm doing in schools, I have a lot of students who are like, oh, I've never been good at science or I've never been good at math. Do you have any advice for them? I mean, you have a natural gift for it. What advice do you have for people who may not have that natural gift or that natural affinity toward it? How would you explain to them the benefits of the joys of physics or science in general?
The benefits of STEM is doing something new and innovative. And you can do that, well, you can do that in any field. At least for me, it feels especially satisfying understanding something new or learning something new in STEM. In terms of getting into it or getting better at it, it's one of those things that I find that the best way to do it is just to constantly throw your head into it over and over and over and over again. Especially the basic concepts, because mastery of those is typically what you will need. It will help you build in the more advanced concepts coming into calculus, but understanding completely mastering basic algebra and getting really good at calculus 1 is actually going to get you really, really, really far in STEM, especially where physics is concerned. There's a lot of advanced math and physics, but just those basic things have gotten me through some tough times, just working with that alone. In addition, if you're struggling in STEM, I recommend coding. Coding, for me, does not require as much math or engineering or physics, calculation know-how. It's much more understanding the rules of the language and just going in a step-by-step process to produce something pretty cool. So, I would definitely give coding a shot out of anything in STEM. Coding, other than physics, well, coding and physics are my two favorite things.
So, you had an opportunity, actually you've done a couple of internships while you've been there. Talk a little bit about those and like how you chose them and stuff like that.
So the main research experience I've been working on at North Carolina A&T is working with a professor in my department studying the morphology of aerosols.
So first, who's the professor?
The professor is Dr. Solomon Billing.
Big up Dr. Billings.
big ups him. He is an amazing professor, amazing person, and it has been wonderful to work with him. In terms of the research I'm doing, he's giving me images, really zoomed in images of aerosols, and I'm using different coding software to analyze those images to figure out their fractal dimension, which is basically a number detailing how complex they are. You can take this number to figure out the optical properties of these aerosols, and so we're trying to figure out how well the methods we currently have are at working with these particular aerosols.
Okay, so when you say aerosols, you're talking about like spray stuff, right?
I'm talking about particulate substances produced by burning organic matter. So just...
Inhuman?
Smoke produced by burning...
Yo, for 2 years, I didn't know what the hell you were doing. I really thought you were spraying stuff. Are you kidding me? Oh, so disrespectful. You're so disrespectful. I really thought you had like sprayed aerosol. I didn't know it was smoke. Like dead ass. That's crazy. I've been trying to keep up for like 2 years, and I fundamental piece of it. You know what? Now a lot of the shit you said makes sense. Because I was like, why would it? Okay, wow, that's
So the technical term are biomass burning aerosols. So it's smoke produced from burning eucalyptus or olive or pine, and just the effect that has on the atmosphere is what we're studying.
Oh, so you want some climate change shit?
Yep.
Oh my God! Like, are you kidding me? Like, literally for 2 years, 3 years, I had no idea. Like, this is. Yeah, this is. Thank y'all for this interview. Now I get to know my son. Currently, so a lot of you all, you know who you are. You joke me about not asking follow-up questions. You might have a point. You might have a point. Go ahead, tell them some more about it. So this is some real climate change. Like, so if you figure out how eucalyptus smoke burns and stuff like that, what would be the practical application of that in like real life as you're studying? Well, once you are able to perfect the process and get consistent results and understand those results, how would that be useful in the efforts against climate change?
So the current results we have are determining if the two methods I'm using, the nested square method and the box grid method, are good for working with biomass burning aerosols and how well those methods are able to be used in different experimentations. Should the results be mostly positive, that means in future research, by just taking the image of an aerosol, you can end up calculating its fractal dimension, as well as some optical properties from that, making it easier to analyze aerosols, or giving at least scientists more ways to do it, more reliable ways to do it in the future, to calculate the fractal dimension for whatever they need. Because the fractal dimension is, again, very important in determining how these aerosols reflect and refract and absorb light, and how that all impacts the amount of heat and climate change we're experiencing.
So technically, not even technically, so like once your calculations are correct, so like if they have a wildfire, they can use that type of process to see how much of these particulates are going into the air from a wildfire, maybe?
Not quite.
Okay. So
the idea is we first have to capture a sample of the aerosol and then take it and isolate it and image it, and then from that image you can calculate the fractal dimension. However, aerosols change as they age; they can change shape, and so their fractal dimension can steadily alter as well. In addition, not really in addition, but it's more so straight up taking a sample. You would have to process the sample and do other things with it to calculate the fractal dimension this way. In some experiments that might be helpful, in some experiments it's better to calculate the fractal dimension other ways. It's all about just adding another set of methods to the mix.
Okay, so a set of tools that somebody can use to refine their calculations and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Gotcha. I thought you were developing something you could take pictures of smoke and be like, oh no, that's 15 of them in there. Like, oh.
Nah, not anything like that.
That's cool. All right, so this is your last year. Wrapping this up. 4 years North Carolina A&T 1. It sounds like you would recommend for other people to come to North Carolina A&T.
Absolutely would. Wonderful school, wonderful climate, wonderful people to be around.
Okay, so here's another question though. Do you think your experience in North Carolina A&T may be skewed because you've been part of the honors college, or do you think that like the bell curve or general student at North Carolina A&T is having a similar experience?
I think both things are true. Okay. I think I've definitely had a better experience than most, having the privilege to be a part of the Cheatham White Scholarship and being in the honors program.
Who was the lady at Cheatham White that that helped you out, like, who was always sending you emails and stuff like that? What is her name?
Miss Wellman. She is the director of the Cheatham White department, and she works in the honors program. She is such a wonderful person and is so helpful and is so patient and is one of my favorite people in the entire university. She is absolutely amazing.
Goodness.
I would definitely say my experience has been skewed. A lot of things have been made a lot easier for me being in the honors program, such as housing and honestly having to worry about to pay for school. NCAT does have some hiccups in terms of, well, especially when it comes to housing, since it's such a big school, trying to fit everybody around. But at the same time, I still think, on average, it's a really great experience because everyone is just really nice. Like, I haven't really had a negative experience with any person on campus. I've never had just walking down the street, or like if I see someone, if I say hi to someone or make a new friend, it's all just so easy and everyone just feels so personable.
Now during the
your battery's at 15%, by the way.
Okay, thanks. Now during the COVID epidemic, you were still in school during that. Talk a little bit about how they managed that whole epidemic, like, because you had a couple of scares about being positive for COVID. How did they manage that?
They managed it fairly well. They had a site to inform you how many people had tested positive recently. They were able to fairly...
Like a website?
Yeah, they had on their website, they kept track of employees and students tested positive. They were able to kind of backtrace when someone tested positive to let people know fairly quickly. Testing was always free and available, like every day of the week, so you could always just run and go get tested. You could get the rapid test and the PCR test, which came like a day or two later. So you could always be sure whether or not you were positive or negative. And they had a system for quarantining positive students for a period of time in order to try to keep the campus safe. They also moved a lot of classes to online and were really flexible. And if a class was in person, but there were COVID cases skyrocketing or some issues, they would tell those classes to transition online, and we would. And online classes have been a struggle. I can't focus at all for the most part, but thankfully I was still able to grasp the information well enough to do well. But that's more of a fault on just online classes than anything NCAT was doing.
Yeah, like that.
Online classes and COVID suck.
But speaking of, you talked about having some challenges navigating during that time frame. What is tell them a little bit about your grades and stuff like that. So how have your grades managed during your time at North Carolina A&T?
My grades have been phenomenal for my time at North Carolina A&T. I think I've had all A's, except for one class when there was a project due that was due on my birthday, that I was celebrating my birthday for, to remember that it existed, so I missed it. And the teacher had said before that there will be no exceptions for late work, and if you don't turn it in, you don't turn it in. So I didn't try to hit her up, which is something I recommend that everyone do, that if something happens, especially if you're really consistent with your work, it should still be worth a shot letting your teacher know and seeing if something can be done. Because, as it turns out, if something could have been done, or I did turn that in, I would have left the class with a 96 instead of an 86, but I was still able to leave the class fairly well. And that was the only B I've ever had all my time here. So,
actually, isn't that the only B you've ever had in academics period?
Well, yeah, but it's about college.
Well, yeah, tell them that part too.
It's also the only B I've ever had academics period.
Like since kindergarten, first grade.
Since first grade.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But yeah.
So, we're going to talk about this some more as we progress along the journey. But talk about what your plans are like for right now. Like, well, next year after graduation.
Plans right now, next year after graduation, going to graduate school in a graduate PhD program that I can work on both simultaneously. Very interested in my master's degree and PhD simultaneously. Okay. Very interested in astronomy and astrophysics at the most. From what I've seen, there's a bunch of surveys that I need to do, where that's a lot of data collection and parsing, and that's going to involve a lot of coding, or simulations, which also involves a lot of coding. After that, I am interested in quantum mechanics, which I've always found very interesting and fascinating, but requires a lot of math and outside-the-box thinking that it's going to be tough getting adjusted to if that's what I go and do. And after that, I'm interested in electromagnetism, purely because electromagnetism is by far my worst subject in physics. It is something I have always struggled to understand for some reason, and it just hasn't clicked for me. So it'd be really interesting to go to graduate school for that, so I can learn more about it and become a master in it, since I've always had such a hard time with it.
All right, I think I'm done talking right now. I'm just going to drive some more.
Greetings and salutations, all my friends out there in internet land. I am William Honablew Jr., and I have the privilege of being the host of the BlackUSA.news morning show. The BlackUSA.news morning show is currently recruiting guests for an upcoming series on single parents and co-parenting. We find that there's a lot of misinformation and a lot of isolation in the narrative about single parents. And we want to make sure that we keep this platform available to tell the true story, our people's story. The topics that we will be covering range from health, wellness, the type of support, how important your social support system is, romance, and things of that nature. If you're interested in becoming a guest, you can check the link in the description. You can email us at info@grindinggang.com, or you can visit this link. Thank you so much, and have an awesome day.
So we're back, and we're still headed down to North Carolina A&T. Closer than we were before, but still a little bit away. I want to talk a little bit now, shifting gears a little bit, talk a little bit about Timothy's friends. I'm going to slip and call him Diddy a couple times, or Buddha, or some other name, because I call him like 18 different things. He responds because he's cool like that. But yeah, tell him about your friends and like the people you met at North Carolina A&T. You mentioned that most of them were like really cool and you enjoyed the people, but like any people in particularly that you've enjoyed?
So in terms of people I particularly enjoyed, the shout out would have to go to my friend Shalyn Harper. She is a journalism mass communications major with a concentration in public relations, I want to say. Okay. Hope I got that right. She is a wonderfully talented woman, very helpful, has helped me through a lot of work, an amazing friend and confidant, and is definitely my favorite person I've met at North Carolina A&T. Just wanted to make sure, but she's definitely my favorite. All of my friends share the same interests with me. We all have a very much an interest in video games, anime, and just relaxing and just talking and chilling. I've had a some might call it like not a well-rounded experience. I spent like just a lot of time just hanging and enjoying myself and moving at my own pace. And while I haven't done as much things as many other college students have, I still like everything I have done. And I love how I've spent my time just being able to spend so much of it just relaxing, not having to do anything to be able to enjoy myself. Those are the types of people I surround myself with, and I love them to bits.
So how has it been for them, or you all together, in navigating through the world of North Carolina A&T as an undergrad? Like how have you all been able to support each other? Has that kind of stuff been happening, or is it like everybody's kind of on their own?
We support each other, talking through our problems, getting advice from each other, just sometimes griping and complaining. But most importantly, just having some people to chill with or do something else with to take our minds off of whatever's going on.
What else about like people outside of your crew? Like, do you have
Do you do any extracurricular activities and stuff like that?
I am part of the Honda Civic All-Star Championship at NCAT. It is an amazing quiz bowl club that I'm in. Very fun. It's similar to It's Academic. What anyone? Yeah, it's very similar to It's Academic. In addition, I do tutoring around the campus. I used to do tutoring specifically to the math department, but since then it's more people hit me up and ask for help, and I schedule time to tutor with them. And I'm also a Cheatham White Scholar. And other than that, I've been spending a lot of time working on the research project I was talking about earlier.
Ooh, tell us about the food at North Carolina A&T. Is it bomb, or do they need to go ahead and make sure they have their Uber Eats already paid up?
You should definitely keep an eye out for the Uber Eats thing. Okay. There are some meals in the Williams Caf that absolutely hit. Quite a few that miss. But there's also the Marketplace, which is a smaller caf in the Student Center, which has a lot of objectively good food. From my perspective, it's a bit too bougie for me, but almost everyone on campus prefers the Marketplace over caf for some reason. I just need higher standards, I suppose, when it comes to food. But the food on campus is decent. It's decent. It's not the best college food I've had, but it's not terrible.
What do you do for I know you say you chill out and hang out with your friends, but is there stuff to do around? You mentioned downtown is close, but the movies, bowling, anything like that around there?
There is a movie theater called Regal that we always go to watch movies. There's an
AMF bowling?
Yeah, AMF bowling lane that the last time we went to was really packed. Couple of spots to walk around, couple of parks to see. I know that there is that NCAT has a farm, but I've not had the opportunity to go to it yet. I'm hoping to go to it this year. What else? There's several campuses really close by. Like UNCG is in walking distance, so there's a whole, University of North Carolina, Greensboro. So there's just a whole other campus to interact with too.
Have you
And there's the Four Seasons Mall.
Oh, Four Seasons Mall. What's that?
It is a mall that is accessible through one of the bus transportations that stop in NCAT called the Heat, and I'm pretty sure it's the 71 Heat you can get on, and it'll take you down to the mall. Lots of things to see there. Personally, my favorite is Dairy Queen. I love ice cream. But they also have it's similar to Dave & Buster's. Around one, I think it is, in the Four Seasons Mall as well.
So, okay. That's a lot of good information. Greensboro is cool. Your people are cool. Oh, now I've heard great things about the North Carolina A&T homecoming. Have you had a chance to go to any of the homecomings?
I've been to the homecoming, and it is awesome. There's a whole week of stuff planned out, and it's especially cool that it's in October towards the end, because there's a haunted house that I was able to go to one year that was really cool. The games are always live, but especially the homecoming game, and it is just crazy the number of people that are on campus for homecoming.
Because I know some of our cousins come down to the school for homecoming. Rome cousins. All right, I think we're done for right now. We'll come back. Yeah. Oh, wait.
No. Hello, everybody in internet land. I've finally made it to North Carolina A&T. I'm standing in my new room as we speak. It looks like a bunch of junk because I have unpacked nothing. But we've unpacked the car. We've gotten everything I need from Walmart for now. And it's all looking pretty good. It's really nice and spacious, and I'm looking forward to this semester.
So that's who he is now. That is That is the mature man who is finishing up his last year in college and doing some amazing things around climate change and the like. That was crazy. Separate issue. So that's who he is, but he wasn't always this guy, but he kind of was always this guy. Take a look at how his teachers saw him when he was in the 6th grade.
Our first award will go to the 18th student. And bear with me while I read this brief description. The principal's award is given to 2 students per grade level, chosen by his or her teachers, who exemplify excellence in both academics and citizenship. This year's principal award for the A team goes to a student who is a true gentleman, who cares for others and is consistently helpful, polite, and responsible. This young man is a very successful student in the classroom and has worked hard to attain honor roll every quarter this year, excelling in a very demanding curriculum and earning grades above 90% in all of his classes. This year, in Roland Park's first ever National History Day competition, he won at the school level and went on to compete at the district level. The 18 winner is not only an enthusiastic learner, but participates enthusiastically in extracurricular activities as well. He has been an active member of Math Counts Club for 2 years. He is a member of the cast in our school play, and also a member of our National Academic League team. Please join me in congratulating this year's 18 Principals Award winner, Timothy Honablew.
All right, so now this next clip is an acceptance speech that he gave for being the valedictorian in one of the classes that he took over the summer after his 8th grade year. Big up to Shonda Duncan and the folks over at the Academy for College and Career Exploration, ACE 427. Big up Principal Dr. Quinyon Scott, former Principal Dr. Quinyon Scott, and also big up to the Youth Works program in Baltimore City Public School. Well, not Baltimore City Public Schools, but they partner with Baltimore City Public Schools. And they also work out of the Mayor's Office of Employment Development in Baltimore City. So big up to all of them. And special shout out to Dr. Brenner. After Dr. Brenner is the gentleman who's going to be introducing Timothy, and then Timothy's going to speak. But even after Timothy left the program, Dr. Brenner continued to be a mentor to him and stay involved in his life, which, you know, is a really big deal. So I'm grateful. Just want to say big up to everybody that need to be big up.
I'm going to say something first before we bring our next valedictorian up. Does everybody knows Tim, right? Everybody knows Tim. Yeah. Do you know what grade he's getting ready to go in? 9. Wow. Right? So he's going to be so embarrassed, I don't care. Yeah, he's just entering 9th grade, beginning his career as a high school student. Yet he came this summer and was outstanding as a college student. I mean, on the level of maybe a college freshman, right? So I just wanted to give you my personal congratulations for that. Come on up.
What do you think? Because he's a weirdo.
What's up? So, as you can tell by my name tag, I'm not wearing a name tag. You don't know who I am. Okay. I am Random Stranger, your co-valedictorian. This program has been one of the coolest ones I have ever been in. And not just because we got to eat lunch wherever we want. Although I mostly ate vending machine food. You do not know how upset I was when the vending machines ran out of onions. But this program has been really awesome because of all the teachers and Dr. Brenner and just the stuff we get out of it. We could get college credits, recommendations. Some of us are getting paid, so, including me. It's really awesome. It's more amazing than the fact that Twinkies are FDA approved. And if you're wondering if that's my last food joke, it's not. But I have to say, one thing I really don't understand about this program is I first thought this program was to help students be prepared for college. But then I saw you guys, and I'm like, I don't think that's what it is at all. When I first met you guys, you were already great, and you already seemed to have a bright future ahead of you in college. And now, after this program, I'm pretty sure that the chances of you succeeding in college are from here to here. And if you don't know, that is 110%. Now, I know what you're thinking. Inconceivable. But I suggest you look up that word, because I don't think it means what you think it means. I think the word you're looking for is definite. You guys have been cooler than, I don't know, some type of food reference. So, now I just have one more thing to say. My third and final thing to say as a co-valedictorian is, if the pizza they serve next isn't good, I'm going to be really disappointed.
All right, and so want to say thank you to our church family at Trinity AME Zion Church, in particular the Melda Martin Scholarship Committee. Big ups to them. That money came in very handy as we're navigating some of the additional cost of going back and forth to school and making sure that he has the resources that he needs. So big up to you guys, and thank you. And one of the things that I figured that we'd end on is giving you an opportunity to see the spiritual grounding. This is Timothy doing a sermon on parental duty.
Now, it's Children's Day today, and I would like you to give a hand for all the wonderful children that have helped make this presentation come true. And before I start, I'd also like to thank my family and everyone who has come here to support me for this. And just say I love you guys. Thanks. The future. When some think of this, they may think of futuristic things like robots or flying cars. I mean, I know I do. That's why I'm kind of glad I did this. Because now I know it's much more than that. The future is children. And we are more and worth more than you could ever imagine. Now, I know these parents in the audience can relate to this. I know these parents love and care about their children so much and know that they can achieve great things. But I'm telling you that we can achieve much more than you think. You see, we have an amazing potential that is almost virtually unstoppable and infinite. I like to think we have that type of potential that has that Bruce Leroy glove.
Oh, God.
As parents, it's not your jobs to make sure we get all that inner potential out, but it's your jobs to guide us and get us to grow to be the adults you know we need to be for later on in life. In the end, it all comes down to us for this world's future. True, we may cost a lot. We can sometimes be messy and annoying. Sometimes we feel like a complete burden. But let me tell you, we are a gift. A gift and a privilege that some aren't ready for. We are a snotty, pricey, messy, hungry, almost completely disgusting gift. Let me tell you why. When I first read Isaiah chapter 11, verse 6, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf and the young lion and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them, I was thinking, someone is messing with me. Someone has set me up for something I'm not going to like. But then it struck me. Well, on the second try, it struck me. The first time was tacos. I was hungry. This verse is talking about a child's power. A power to bring all together to make a better future for everyone to live in. This is the potential I'm talking about. This potential is why children are all our prides, are all our future, are all our hopes. And as a community, not just our enemies, our family, but a community as people, it's important that we pass down the torch. That us children inherit what I like to call your will of fire. You may have heard it before. And it's our job to keep that fire burning in this world. So have a little faith. Trust us and our judgment and forget your doubts. Unless, of course, it's clear we're about to make a humongous mistake that you've seen happen before and you know could ruin our lives. In that case, get us. Catch us from falling. Save us. Just help us. Help us.
Yeah.
Parents.
All right.
Don't let it get in the way of parenting, but try to become our friends too. Get to know us and don't assume you know everything about us. Sometimes you may have missed something or skipped over it, or we're just waiting for the right time to tell you. Speaking of which, Mom, on one of my body system quiz in science, I really messed up. I still did a good job, but I messed up because I thought that aorta pumped blood to the brain and the circulation system, but it didn't. And I had no idea what the pacemaker did. Some of you might not understand what I'm saying, but I'm pretty sure she gets it. And that's another thing. Children and parents, learn to be more honest and open with each other.
Yes.
Children, it's a very important virtue you'll use later on in life, and it's important to get people to trust you. And parents, it's important that that's the end of it. Now, before I say anything else, just in case you're wondering, we're finishing the second paragraph right now. I apologize that this paragraph wasn't all about the topic, but the third paragraph will be. Hopefully. Don't forget to be our parents and raise us. Raise us well. Don't spoil us with gifts. Let us feel disappointment.
Yeah.
Don't fix all our problems. Let us feel hardship. Do spoil us with love. Let us know what it feels like and how to pass the feeling on. These are important things to learn for the future. In the end, what you teach us, we'll teach our kids, and they'll teach their kids, and so on. So what it comes down to is that not only are you responsible for us, you're responsible for generations to come. Yes. So remember that job you have, and what I like to call is fun employment. Mm-hmm. You should stop working for maybe 1 or 2 days, or stop looking for a job, and actually spend time with your kids.
Yes.
We'll love it. It'll be our favorite memories. When we're gone or when we're older, those are going to be the things we're going to remember and love. So make a lot of those memories. So, and plus, don't let your problems affect what you're teaching your kids. And don't let your problems affect your child. Now, I have faith in you and your skills to raise us good and raise us well. Raise us to be great. Raise us to be the next Moses, the next David, and the next Josiah. Because I know, and you know, that we children can do these amazing things. So raise us right. Teach us in the name of the Lord. Don't raise us to be like you. Raise us to be better than you. Raise us to be us. To be someone we'd like to look in the mirror. To not feel like a copy or a clone, but as an original individual. Because once we get to that point to know who we are, we can start freely expressing ourselves and getting to understand each other. And once we get to that point, we can get to the unification of all that Isaiah chapter 11 verse 6 was talking about, that we shall lead. To tell you the truth, any child has the potential to speak like me. Any child has the ability to do exactly like me, maybe even better. We children have our own origin stories and lives. We've had our trips and falls, and parents who picked us back up. You've taught us, fed us, raised us, and loved us. You've worked hard to bring out our inner potential, and I'd like to show you what the results could be. For 1 second, I would like you to close your eyes. Imagine a world where everybody's connected, no separating worlds, and everybody embraces the Lord. There's no famine, disease, or war. The The internet is faster and time travel is possible. We found the brink of the universe, have been inside a black hole, and for you sci-fi fans, robots and flying cars. Open your eyes. All of this could happen. All of this is possible for us. Now parents, do me a favor. Hug and kiss your beautiful growing children, and children accepted. Now parents, take a trip to the back seat and let us show you we've been paying attention. Let us become part of the future that it's our job to make. Let us children take the wheel. Also, get car insurance because I can already see the bills piling up and we don't want the future to be broke. Thank you.
All right, so you all can tell I'm sitting here. I am beaming with all types of parental pride and all types of things like that. So this entire show would not be possible. Hell, the kid wouldn't be possible without big shout out to his mother, one of the most wonderful women you will ever meet, Lynn Halstead. Okay, here she goes. All right, here's a picture of her. Lynn is not only a great mom, she is an incredible human resources professional, and she has sang professionally on the stage or performed. She'd kill me for saying that she sings. She performed professionally on the stage of the Kennedy Center in Washington, D.C. So I would be remiss if I did not say big shout out to my baby mother, my ex-wife, and one of the best women that I've ever met. All right. So thank you all for indulging me in this parental journey, and I'm really grateful to you all for it. And we will be Black tomorrow.